Welcome to Wesley Impact. I'm Keith Garner. We have an awful lot of sheep in Australia. I wonder why sheep and a shepherd became one of the great pictures of Christian care. Well, thanks for your company again today. I'm glad you're joining us. I'm looking forward to sharing some thoughts with you today on the theme of Jesus, the Good Shepherd. There's an enormous difference between the shepherd and someone who's simply brought in as a hireling. Not only is the role of shepherd important, but Jesus is himself described as the shepherd who is good. In today's programme, we'll be joined by a colleague at Wesley Mission, Watson Pualilo. Watson is the minister of our Wesley Mission Samoan congregation, vibrant, energetic congregation, who are passionate about faith and their own culture. And we'll see how they bring the two together. Now, you won't make a big thing of this, but it's also worth a mention that Watson did, prior to being a minister, play rugby back in New Zealand. Of course, everybody plays rugby in New Zealand and Samoa as their first sport. So not only is he a minister of one of our congregations, he's also got that rugby union background. I'm looking forward to speaking to Watson later in the show. We'll be joined by Craig Gower and the Wesley Impact Band, who will sing Keith Green's song, There Is a Redeemer. Therefore, we're going to do that. But first of all, let's continue. We had last week the first part of Alicia's story. You remember Alicia found herself without a home as a teenager in Newcastle in the Hunter Valley, just 2 hours north of Sydney. Through our work in the Hunter, Alicia connected with Wesley Mission and began to take steps necessary to turn her life around. This is the second part of Alicia's story.
I met Alicia when she was about 16. She would come in with friends, but she didn't engage straight away. She would come in, you say hi, and how you going, do you need any help? She'd go, no, I don't need any help. You know, so it took, and I think it was a trust thing. And so when we finally built up some rapport, she started to tell her story. Basically, her mum is an alcoholic. Alicia didn't have the boundaries or I guess the love and care that you'd normally would want in a family, and she was kicked out of home and shoved around to do Western Australia to other relatives, you know, so she was basically unwanted by her mother, and I guess that's why she ended up on the streets. When she was on the street, the guy she was involved with was an ice user and a heroin user, so he introduced her to injecting and stuff like that. A lot of young people talk about being on the streets and how that's their family, because they don't have that blood family, or their blood family doesn't want anything to do with them, so they make a family elsewhere.
I was struggling to get accommodation because I was living in refuges when I was pregnant. I was ringing up different refuges and all that sort of stuff. I always got thrown back because it was either too many people were in there and there's not enough room, or I wasn't the correct category because I was too old to go to a youth refuge, or I was too young to go to an adult refuge. One of the things I've learnt with Wesley Mission, that you can succeed, it doesn't matter who you are, and you've always got someone to talk to here that's always supportive. Wesley Mission helped me in a huge way with my life skills and home accommodation and drug use and everything like that. They got me out of a rough patch, and I'm really grateful for it.
I got into youth work because I was one of those young people that I work with now. I got mixed up in drugs, ended up on the street and all that stuff. And I guess I had a couple of supportive people, youth workers, that helped me move past the situation that I was in. I can see Alicia going far in life. She can live her dream. And having that faith in her to say, you know, she can do this. You know, she can really do this. If someone just gives her a chance, you see her now, and where she has come from in the past 3 years is amazing.
I think that I'm really lucky to have home. I feel happier. I feel like I can achieve more. So that's why I'm going to try going back to TAFE with doing some studies. Well, my dreams is to get my little boy back from docks and just be happy. When I think of Wesley Mission, I think of hope, happiness, support. Wesley means to me my life. If I didn't have them, I wouldn't be here.
If you would like to learn more about Wesley Mission, visit wesleymission.org.au. You can find help in our community services, connect with our church and congregations, discover a volunteer role that suits you, stay up to date on the latest news and information, donate to support our work, and help make a positive difference in your community. You can also connect with us on social media and subscribe to receive the latest news and information about Wesley Mission directly into your inbox. Visit wesleymission.org.au.
It's our annual dinner where we have what's called a Sports United.
There's a few sports stars that turned up, so I'm looking forward to hearing their stories, but also learning a lot more about the Wesley Mission.
Yeah, that's why we're here today. Make a small contribution that might be able to help.
I support Wesley Mission.
I support Wesley Mission.
I support Wesley Mission because every life matters.
To become a sponsor of our Sports United fundraising lunch, call us or visit wesleymission.org.au.
Please don't hesitate to be in touch if you'd like to find out more work about our work here at Wesley Mission, or if we can be of help to you in any way. Our email address and website are on the screen now. At Wesley Mission, we have a number of congregations that meet every week at various locations around Sydney and seek to meet the needs of their local communities. In some areas, we provide certain services or pastoral care ministries. In others, we need to provide an environment where people from culturally diverse backgrounds can come together and share their faith in a setting that's familiar to them. If you're a regular viewer of this programme and our Easter sunrise service from the Sydney Opera House, you'll remember 3 years ago that the Wesley Samoan Congregation Choir were featured in that broadcast. To tell us more about that particular congregation, I'm joined by their minister, Watson. Welcome to the show, Watson.
Thank you, Keith.
How many people are there in your congregation? It's not huge, but it's a decent-sized congregation.
Yes, it's roughly about between 50 to 60 people.
Okay, okay. And most of them born in Australia or some in Samoa, just to get a picture of that?
Some of them in Samoa. Most of the young generation were born here in Australia.
So would you say that it's a carrier of the culture for the younger people? Because I know when I come and speak there, some of the songs are in Samoan, some prayers. Is that important?
Yes, it is. Most of the young generation have a difficulty with the language. So we use bilingual when we do our services, both in English and Samoan. We use the Samoan language for the older generation and then the English for the younger ones. But it's important that we keep that going so that they can feel that they're part of the church as well, and knowing that they understand what's being said, what's being preached. But also it's important to keep that cultural link with the elderlies in the church. Yeah.
And family is so important, isn't it, in your culture?
Our family is very important in our culture. As you know, when you come to preach that, we always have that respecting the elders, respecting your parents, and so always we learn from them. They're the ones who pass the culture on to us, the traditions and so forth, into the younger
I was
generation.
nearly rude when I said family and food are important when I come to your congregations, because that's so much a feature of what you do together. You enjoy eating together and playing together and having events together.
Yes, that's right. Food is a very important part of the fellowship when we gatherings, yes.
Tell us just a little of Samoa. Samoa is a place that you were born, but you moved to New Zealand, like many people do. How long does it take to drive around, for example, Samoa? I mean, are we talking about...
It will probably take a full day to drive around the island. It's not a fairly big island, so yeah, roughly a day.
Do many people go to New Zealand for work reasons? Is that why people go there?
Many go there for work, of course, for the education as well, for the children, and just to seek a better future for their families. Yeah.
And what things matter to you in church life? I mean, you talk about the young people what are the things that are most important about being a Samoan church for you?
Knowing that the children of the younger generation, we have that link with the elderlies, as I said, but also to maintain the Christian way of life, which is very important. Of course, the parents want their children to be involved in the church and the ministry. Many of them have been in church for many years. So they want that continuation with their children and grandchildren as well. So it's important that we keep that intact.
And affirming family sits at the heart of all of that, doesn't it?
That's right.
Your young people have enjoyed sharing with us, and your choir, not only at Easter, but also last Christmas too. You shared with us at Christmas time in a recently recorded programme.
Yes, they love to sing, as you know.
Yeah.
Worship is at the heart of our ministry. We love to use the talents in our voices to praise and to sing. So whenever there's an opportunity for us to be part of an event at Wesley Mission, we would love to be part of that, just to praise and to use what we have.
Now, away from the pulpit, you used to do rugby, didn't you?
Yes, I did play a lot of rugby in my school days.
Yeah.
And then after I left school, I played club rugby.
Yeah.
Rugby was a very important part of my life. When I left school, I had a lot of spare time. So it kept me out of the street, and it kept me busy. So if I wasn't involved in rugby, I would probably...
What position did you play?
I played half.
Yeah.
Half back most of the time.
Yeah. And tell us, did any... The work you do now as a minister, has your earlier life informed the way that you do ministry?
I had no idea I would be a minister when I started. My road to being a minister was quite a rough one. My parents, who were very much involved in the church, as many of my family members were, but it took me a while to get to where I am today. I had a rough upbringing. My past was, a lot of things occurred, but I never had any idea that I would be leading a church or to be involved in.
So there's a real sense of God's call in the middle of all of that.
Yes, it certainly was. Yeah.
And the congregation doesn't meet like many of our congregations in the Wesley Centre. It meets in the suburb of
Ashbury.
Ashbury in Sydney. So people who come from that Samoan background and perhaps don't go to church, there's a place where they can share in, isn't it?
Yes, there is.
Well, Watson, thank you for sharing with us, being willing to come on the programme today and tell us a little bit about that congregation. Please welcome now Craig Gower and the band to sing the Keith Green song, There Is a Redeemer.
There is a Redeemer, Jesus, God's own Son, precious Lamb of God, Messiah, Holy One. Jesus, my Redeemer, name above all names, precious Lamb of God, Messiah, oh, for sinners slain. Thank you, oh my Father, for giving us your Son and leaving your Spirit till the work on earth is done. When I stand in glory, I will see His face, and there I'll serve my King forever in that holy place. Thank you, oh my Father, for giving us your Son and leaving your Spirit till the work on earth is done. There is a Redeemer, Jesus, God's God's own Son, precious Lamb of God, Messiah, Holy One. Thank you, oh my Father, for giving us your Son and leading your Spirit till the work on earth is done. And leading your Spirit till the work on earth is
Over the years of Wesley Impact, Keith Garner has had hundreds of conversations sharing stories of hope, resilience, love and the Christian faith. Perspectives on Faith and Leadership is a collection of inspiring and insightful conversations with people who are leaders in their field, including the New South Wales Police Commissioner Andrew Scipione, CEO of Lifeline Australia John Brogden, the inventor of the cochlear ear implant Professor Graham Clark, founder of Shed Happens Ian Watto Watson, respected Australian journalist Lee Hatcher, and the former Chief Inspector of the New South Wales Police Gary Raymond. Each conversation shares a unique perspective on leadership and the achievements of notable community leaders, and collectively presents a broad cross-section of leadership styles that have brought positive social change. Perspectives on Faith and Leadership is the first instalment of a 3-part series and is available now from Wesley Mission. To find out more, contact Wesley Mission on 02 9263 5555 or email impacttv@wesleymission.org.au.
Easter doesn't end on Easter Day, and in the Easter season, I'm returning to Jesus, the Good Shepherd, who really cares for his sheep. The reason why the shepherd cares for the sheep is because he owns them. Let me read to you from John chapter 10, verses 11 through to 18, which picks up and concentrates on this theme. I am the Good Shepherd. The Good Shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. The hired hand is not the shepherd and does not own the sheep. So when he sees the wolf coming, he abandons the sheep and runs away. Then the wolf attacks the flock and scatters it. The man runs away because he's a hired hand and cares nothing for the sheep. I am the Good Shepherd. I know my sheep and my sheep know me, just as the Father knows me and I know the Father. And I lay down my life for the sheep. I have other sheep that are not of this sheep pen. I must bring them also. They too will listen to my voice, and there shall be one flock and one shepherd. The reason my Father loves me is that I lay down my life only to take it up again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I have authority to lay it down and authority to take it up again. This command I received from my Father. You see, the life of the sheep is intertwined with the Good Shepherd. That's what we really read when we concentrate on verse 4 in the passage, where it talks about he's brought us all out, and that sense of belonging. I know my sheep know me. In verse 14 is also picked up, and we're told that the sheep listen to his voice. The whole life of the shepherd is of a piece with the sheep. He can't see them separate because that's his life. This contrasts with the hired hand, who simply works for the payment. Very hard to hear, but it's true. The hired hand is not the shepherd and does not own the sheep. So when he sees the wolf coming, he abandons the sheep and runs away. Then the wolf attacks the flock and scatters it. You see, if he's a hired hand and he doesn't really own the sheep, his life isn't intertwined with the sheep, well, there's a real sense in which it doesn't matter, does it? I can just leave the sheep and get on my own way. But for the shepherd, there's a very different kind of relationship. I try to contrast these relationships in this way. For the shepherd, there's a me and mine relationship, where on the other hand, for the hired hand, it's a me and them relationship. And what a great difference that makes to the way you treat the sheep. If they're part and parcel of your life, you're going to care for them. We're told that the sheep are known by name. Really good shepherds have known the difference. A difference that the amateur walking past looking at two sheep may just see them as though they're the same. But the shepherd really understands those sheep, can tell the nuances, the differences, the tiny differences that distinguish one sheep from another. And all of this leads to the great passage and statement that says, I am the good shepherd. When Moses asked God who it was that was sending him to set the Hebrew people free, God tells Moses to say, I am sends you. There are 7 such I am statements in John's Gospel. Warren Wiersbe explores the I am statements under a fascinating title, Jesus in the Present Tense. And that's exactly what Jesus is. Jesus in the present tense. We see him here as somebody not who was the Good Shepherd, but who is the Good Shepherd, who is the Good Shepherd today. We spoke to somebody earlier about a congregational life, 50, 60 Samoans that meet as part of our Wesley Mission. And they have a sense in which they see their pastor and their leaders as shepherding their life. I like that, because when we read that Jesus is the Good Shepherd, it addresses so much a part of our lives. It might address our hurts, our past, and all that would hold us back, and speaks of one who is alongside us to guide, to protect, and to comfort us. Jesus, the Good Shepherd. It's a marvellous picture. Now, you could say it's an old-fashioned one. Well, I have a feeling it still resonates with people, that compassionate care that is embodied in the title, that concern for others that is very much part of life. And I think that when we talk about Jesus as the Good Shepherd, we understand something of our own role too, which is to follow. We often sing, I've decided to follow Jesus. Following Jesus is not just in a moment, it is a lifetime's experience. And to know that Jesus is out there. One of the passages that in the Gospels that I often get concerned about as being so important that we don't always understand it, is that when Jesus headed for Jerusalem to face the final conflict that we remember so well of just a few weeks ago prior to Easter, he's out there on the road ahead of them. He's leading them. When they go into the city on Palm Sunday, Jesus is ahead of them. And Jesus is always ahead of us. He tells the disciples, I'll meet you in the Galilee. Again, I will be the one that makes that decision ahead of you. And the Good Shepherd leads his people. What have we to do? But to follow, to receive his compassionate care, and to know day by day that he is the one that makes sense of our lives, because it is that relationship of me and mine. Isn't it so wonderful to know that we can be his and we can belong to him? So many songs, so many hymns have all focused on Jesus, the Good Shepherd. It's not just a nice piece of religious language. It describes in a profound sense the deepest things. And of all the passages in the Bible, there is still none that beats that wonderful 23rd Psalm that talks about Jesus Christ as the Good Shepherd, as the one who comes alongside us.
If you would like to contact Keith and find out more about today's program, write to us at Wesley Mission, Post Office Box A 5555, Sydney South 1235, or you can send us an email to impacttv@wesleymission.org.au. On our website, you can catch up on past episodes of Wesley Impact, find out more about our work, read online magazines and articles, and connect with us on social media. You can also connect through Keith's blog and stay up to date on all the latest news and information from Wesley Mission, wesleymission.org.au.
Thank you for joining us today. I hope you found the conversation with Watson insightful and those thoughts on the Good Shepherd helpful. I hope you didn't miss the fact that I wanted to communicate most of all that Jesus really is the Good Shepherd, and it has pastoral implications. It's a pastoral theme, and it meets every one of us, whether we're here, whether in our own homes or in many different places today. It meets us at our very point of need. I wonder if there are aspects of this story that speak to you today. Jesus is carer, comforter, protector, and guide. If Wesley Mission can be of help to you or a loved one, don't have any hesitation in contacting us. It's always lovely to receive letters and emails from people, and the email address and the website are on the screen now. On our website, you can watch this and past episodes of Wesley Impact and also make connection with us in so many ways. There's information there on all the various different services that we promote and talk about on this program, the things we do in the community that make life easier to gain contact. And it's very easy to navigate around that website if you want to help someone in need. At Wesley Mission, we seek to do all the good we can and all those we come into contact with. And so we're delighted that you've shared with us once again in this program today. I hope we'll see you again at the same time next week. And remember this week, if you need to know it, that Jesus is your good shepherd, and all you have to do is to receive and know him as your Lord and your Saviour. May God richly bless you.
Wesley Mission walks alongside people of all ages struggling with homelessness, addictions, mental health issues and financial stress. To find out more, visit wesleymission.org.au.